We're back with our first mock draft video of the 2023 season. We have a 12-team full PPR snake draft. We have the 10th overall pick. This is a double flex league, so I'm super excited to dive into it. But before I do, if you could hit that thumbs up button, it only takes a second, and subscribe to the channel so you know when new videos like this go live. We're going to be here all season long, giving you guys weekly waiver wire pickups, injury updates, start, sit, and much more. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. We have the 10th overall pick. So let's see what we can do here. Some things that I learned from last season, or some takeaways. I think I'm going to target wide receivers earlier on in the drafts and go for running backs in the mid rounds. Just because I feel like unless you have like one of the early picks and you're going for someone like Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, I feel like I'm more willing to wait and get some of these mid round running backs. I feel like they have a lot of upside, and I feel like there's so many good wide receivers that you can get in the first couple rounds that I definitely think I'm going to be going wide receiver in the first, wide receiver in the second, and then in the third round maybe target a running back, maybe a quarterback, or maybe a wide receiver depending on who's available. But definitely in the first two rounds I think I'm going to target wide receivers if I have one of these later round picks. So with my first pick, looking at the wide receivers available, we have Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. These are the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. I think it's a no-brainer. Despite all the reports of the issues that Diggs is having with the Bills, I think they're going to be able to figure that out by the time the season comes, and he's going to get all the targets that he wants. So I don't mind leaving the first round with Stephon Diggs. But it's back to me, and looking at the wide receivers available, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's been really good over the past couple seasons, and Garrett Wilson. And honestly, Amon-Ra St. Brown would not be a bad pick here, but I really like Garrett Wilson this season with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to have that Devontae Adams role with the New York Jets. They have Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator, who was with the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. So I really like targeting him in drafts. And now coming back to me, let's see what running backs are available. We got Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's see what quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, and then looking at the wide receivers: Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley. So I think I'm going to go quarterback here, and I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. And you know what's crazy? Look, 5 quarterbacks are off the board already, and that is not normal. And look, another quarterback off the board, and I think this is what a lot of people's drafts are going to look like this season, just because the importance that we saw the quarterback, these quarterbacks in specific, with these big ceilings. I feel like that was the key to winning fantasy football championships, and getting one of these solid guys is not a bad idea. I don't know if I would target a quarterback in the second round, but in the third round, I do not mind grabbing a quarterback, and we have Lamar Jackson. So it is back to me, and I definitely want to get a running back here. And we got Najee Harris and Jahmyr Gibbs. And between the two, I do think Najee Harris is going to continue to be fantasy relevant. Getting him in the fourth round, I don't mind that at all, but I really like the upside of Jahmyr Gibbs, especially in PPR. I think he's going to be used in the passing game a lot, so I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs here. It is back to me, and looking at the running backs available, Miles Sanders is still available, and I really like Miles Sanders. He's on the Carolina Panthers now, and I think he's finally going to get the workload that he was hoping for with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, over the last couple seasons, there was a lot of reports of Miles Sanders being unhappy about the workload that he was receiving. Now he's on a team that last season ran the ball a ton. I think he's going to be able to be very involved in this offense. So I really like Miles Sanders this season. I'm happy for him to be my RB2 on my team. So I really like the upside of Miles Sanders. I think he has top 10 potential in the position that he is in on the Carolina Panthers. But it is back to me, and let's take a look at some of the wide receivers available. We got Michael Pittman, Marquise Brown, Brandon Ayuk, who I really like Brandon Ayuk this season. Looking at the tight ends, no one that I'm seeing there that I feel like I need to go for. So I think I'm going to go with a wide receiver here, and I am going to go with Brandon Ayuk. If Kyler Murray was going to be available earlier on in the season, I would maybe go for Marquise Brown. It seems that Kyler Murray won't be ready until week 8, so I'm kind of going to stay away from Marquise Brown unless he starts falling. It's back to me, though, and looking at the wide receivers we have available, we have Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson. Let's see what running backs. James Cook, I really like the outlook for him this season. Devin Singletary is no longer with the Bills. He's on the Houston Texans. They did sign Damian Harris, but I do think James Cook will be the RB1 for the Bills. We saw towards the end of last season and through the playoffs, the Bills had him way more involved than they did earlier on in the season. I think now that Devin Singletary is not in the picture, I think he may emerge as their RB1. I don't think Damian Harris will take away too much from him. I think they're going to use Damian Harris as like that goal line kind of guy. So I think on earlier downs, James Cook will be more involved. And, they're going to get him involved in the passing game as well, which we like for PPR. So I'm going to go with James Cook here. And it's back to me, and let's take a look at our roster real quick. And we need a tight end. And then we have to fill our bench and our defense, of course, but we always leave defense for the last pick. So looking here, let's see what wide receivers. Deontay Johnson continues to be involved in the Steelers offense. And, with Kenny Pickett, he's going to continue to grow. And we expect Kenny Pickett to take that next step this season. Could that affect Deontay Johnson and, George Pickens emerges as their wide receiver 1? Or will Deontay Johnson continue to get the targets and the volume that he has been getting over the last couple of seasons? The only thing is he did not have any touchdowns last season, which is kind of scary, but that could be with how the Steelers were playing with Kenny Pickett. It was his first season, and if you don't remember, Mitch Trubisky started off the season, and then they had Kenny Pickett come in a few weeks in. So I do think that this team is going to look a lot better, and I do think George Pickens will be involved, but I do think Deontay Johnson is still someone that is going to have a good target share on this team. So I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. And it's back to me, and we need a tight end. Let's see what tight ends are available. I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to go for a wide receiver. There's 2 wide receivers I'm looking at here. Zay Flowers, which stack him up with Lamar Jackson. He is a rookie coming in this season. Odell is the wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2 is Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2. I think this wide receiver core, there's a lot of room for Zay Flowers to emerge as the favorite target for Lamar Jackson. So I do like the upside of him. So that's who I'm going to go with. But I do really like Courtland Sutton. I feel like he's a steal at his current ADP. So I wouldn't fault anyone for going that way because I know for sure that Courtland Sutton will be able to get those targets on the Broncos. With Zay Flowers, there's a little more unknown, but I still don't mind taking the chance, stacking them up with Lamar Jackson. But it is back to me, and I'm going to go for a tight end here. And looking at the tight ends available, I'm going to go with Chig Okonkwo. He was someone that was very involved on this Tennessee offense. They're very thin at the wide receiver position, in my opinion, and I think that's why we saw Chig Okonkwo be very involved in this offense, and they didn't really add anyone over this offseason, so I do like the outlook for Chig Okonkwo, and getting him in the 10th round I think is a great value. But it is back to me, and let's take a look at our roster. We probably could use some more wide receivers. Let's see what running backs are available just to see if there's someone that sticks out. And let's just continue to get some more depth at the wide receiver position. And looking at the wide receivers available, we have Rondale Moore, Darnell Mooney, which Darnell Mooney is kind of interesting now with the Chicago Bears bringing DJ Moore on the team. this could open things up for Darnell Mooney. You know, DJ Moore is going to take attention away from Darnell Mooney. You know, before they didn't really have that elite wide receiver like a DJ Moore who's going to command a lot of attention. Now they have him. I think Darnell Mooney could be a sleeper in drafts. So I'm going to go with Darnell Mooney here. Hopefully the Chicago Bears throws the ball more than they did last season. They had the least passing attempts in the league last season with Justin Fields. Hopefully Justin Fields takes that next step. But it is back to me, and let's just continue to get some more depth at the wide receiver position. And look at the wide receivers available. I do like Tyler Boyd, Sky Moore. Romeo Doubs here, though, is standing out to me, and that's who I'm going to go with here. And here's why. So a lot of people just have assumed that Christian Watson is going to be the wide receiver 1 just because of what he did last season. And, you know, if you go look back at the tape of Christian Watson, he had a lot of drops. Luckily, he had a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers who continued to, you know, give him the ball and was able to place the ball where it needed to be. You know, if you go look at the tape, I'm telling you, go look up some Christian Watson highlights from last season. You're going to see a lot of drops, balls that were thrown perfectly right in his hands, and he just could not grab the ball. I think there's a good chance that Romeo Doubs becomes the favorite for Jordan Love, who I've seen reports that it seems like they have some chemistry going in camp already. So consensus that Christian Watson is going to be the wide receiver 1. I'm not buying it, especially at his current ADP. So I don't mind grabbing Romeo Doubs this late in drafts, but it is back to me. And let's see what running backs, if there's anyone available that I may want to grab, just get some more depth. And, you know, Jeff Wilson, I think is interesting here. There is rumors that Delvin Cook may sign with Miami. And if that happens, that is going to ruin things for Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, obviously. But I am going to go with Jeff Wilson here. I want some more running back depth on my team. And then last, we just need a defense. And looking at the defenses available, we got the Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Miami Dolphins, Steelers, and I'm just going to go with the Cowboys here. And that's going to do it for us today. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Until next time, line them up.